All right, hi everyone. It's Chris Johnson here, and I thought I'd give you a bit of a developer update on the game I'm working on called Atman DX. So one of the things I've done recently is I've shown the game at the Anime and Video Games Convention, AvCon, which is a local convention, and there's a space there called the Indie Games Room where you can show off your game. And so I decided to show off the Atman. So this is the build that I showed. I've set it up so that it's available on Steam, just sort of privately for testers and other people in the development team. And I thought I'd sort of give you a bit of a gist of the game. So the idea is that you're moving through this sort of puzzle dungeon, and in the dungeon there are different rooms, and each room you have to sort of move units and destroy the skeletons that are here. Now every unit you have to move and then attack, and you want to sequence your moves and attacks such that you can destroy, all the skeletons that are in the room. But there's one trick, which is that you'll have skeletons and enemies that are a higher level. So to defeat those, you have to destroy an enemy, and they'll knock out an aura, and then use another unit to collect that aura to level up. And you have a series of different units with different movement patterns. So this game is based on a game that came out in, I think, 2014, just called The Cave of Atman. And we're just extending upon it, adding some new levels, adding some new mechanics, and really fleshing it out much more. I think it's an interesting concept. So if I return out for a minute, so every time you complete a level, you're returned to this map. So this is a new part of the game. You can kind of see all your progress on this map, and then just click into the level you want to complete. And so what happens is that levels start to branch. Okay, so this is what I set up. For AvCon, there's like 56 levels here. It takes about 2.5 hours to play through, and we had someone at AvCon play through in about 2 hours and 20 minutes. They just sat there and finished everything. The sort of average length of the playthrough was about 15 minutes. Sorry, the median was 15 minutes. The average was like 20. But median's a much better measure. And so I thought I'd quickly show you the game, but also the tooling as well. So if I return to the menu, you can see there's a sync replays here. So the replays in this game are actually, your playthroughs are actually recorded, and they can be synced to the server. So let me show you that now. So I'll just come over, so I've got a basic web app here that I'm using to keep track of replays and crashes as well. So if we go to replays, what will happen is it'll load all the replays, or list all the replays and load the latest build. And so you can see here, we've got pages and pages of replays. I think there's like 74 that we got from AvCon. Oops. And you can see the user associated with them. This is the Steam user, which we haven't quite integrated yet. And and if you hit play on any one of these, it'll load the replay and the appropriate build. By default, it just loads up the latest build, and will show you that replay. Now, unfortunately, this is a little bit slow because I am recording, and I'm using my older Mac laptop. So so you can see that how people are moving and the updates. Unfortunately, this build, the HTML version of this build has a few little artifacts and stuff that I haven't been able to clear up. So we can kind of watch this and stuff, which is really nice and really useful. There's also a sort of a crashes section as well. So anytime there's a crash, it'll just submit that to our server, and we can see these listed here: the time, the error, and the stack trace. And if we click into it, we can see a whole bunch of other information. So the build it's associated with, the specs of the machine, just the raw output, how long the app had been loaded for, and a bunch of other details. And that's kind of where we're at with things at the moment. And I thought I'd sort of mention a little bit of the roadmap. So while I talk about that, I might actually get, let's get the Steam version back up. So after AvCon, I set it up on Steam, and we'll be distributing out to testers as soon as I make some fixes. But before doing that, I have to really integrate Steam into the game so that the replays that are submitted are linked to the user's Steam account. That way, it just makes it easier to track down replays and bugs and issues. Then from there, I really need to set up some better tooling to actually scrub through replays and pull out interesting data from them. So ideally, I'd be able to pull out different markers as to when people reach certain levels, and also play it twice, 3 times the speed. So that's something that I need to work out on my end. There's a few bugs from Avcon. No crashes. Didn't run into any sort of crash problems. The only issues I ran into were just a few sort of mechanical bugs, things I'd overlooked. Um, I'm looking to smooth out some of the difficulty in the opening levels. At Avcon, I made the introduction levels quite difficult, just to phase out sort of younger players. But I think in doing that, I made it difficult, not just difficult, but also a little bit unclear on how the mechanics function. So I need to make those first few levels a little bit easier and I think more intuitive to get people into the experience. Because once people were in, they were playing for quite some time. I received a few suggestions on different mechanics that we can explore. And so I'll also be looking into playing around with a shield mechanic where enemies have a shield, and when you attack them, they lose their shield and then have to be attacked again to be destroyed. So like a 2-hit thing. And I also talked to different people at Avcon about art for the game, and so I need to build up a collection of references for that. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to, and that's what I've been doing, and I'm looking forward to building this out much further. Thanks for watching.